Hello, Brigadiers! Welcome to Narcissu. In the last episode, we finally ran out of our medicine and had to make a daring steal from the pharmacy, in which our narrator was injured slightly when he ran into a door and cut his head on the glass. Also, it was implied that the narrator and Setsumi were boyfriend and girlfriend, and they had their picture taken on the can't think of the name, on the expressway. And speaking of the expressway, they made their way off of it, and I'm assuming they're close to Aojishima. So, with that said, let's go to Chapter 7, Narcissus. Slowly, the setting sun dyed everything orange. Deserted beach, strong cold wind swaying a pine grove. Driving the car out onto that beach, I turned the driver's seat over to the girl. Alright, the clutch. Can your feet reach it? It's fine. Okay, then next, shift the gear from neutral to second. I know. Alright, fine, do what you want. Alright. The girl with her short build stretched her foot out as far as she could while gripping the wheel with a serious expression. Leaning out of the passenger seat, I spoke up. That's great. After that, slowly release the clutch. Then, looking obviously nervous. Ah! Oh, that's supposed to be a grinding noise? Anyway, as expected, the grinding noise was phenomenal. Look, you need to disengage the clutch more quietly. Yeah, even I don't know that. I don't drive a car. Her words said so, but of course, it wasn't something one got skillful at right away. The girl tried her best, chewing on her lip a bit in concentration. Exactly because she would normally show no emotion, her figure seemed charming to me. Hey, I'm about to start feeling sick. I know. With the muffler slightly broken, the silver coupe was noisy. On the deserted beach, it was as if a howling voice was reverberating. When the sun's sunset had changed into the night sky, and the faltering sea breeze completely changed to being a land breeze. At some point, the face of a large moon hung in the sky. For the most part, it seems like he got used to it. Along with that reply, she even shifted into third. Totally used to the clutch now, she's driving around the narrow beach. If that's the case, you could get a license without going to the training center, no? Really? Well, I don't have much credibility. It's the words of someone who just got their license after all. By now, there was no meaning for us to get a license. Both of us knew that. We had maps, we had medicine. The muffler was a bit broken and loud, but we even had a silver coupe. Though we had no time, no future. It was exactly because we knew, and I felt it was all the more trying. Well then, instead I'll give you mine. As I spoke, I took out my own license from my pocket. This was originally the license that had lost its debut. To me, the proof of the ordinary world that I should have already lost. Here, in place of your diploma. Even if I take it, Doesn't look like it'd have time to use it. Well, don't hold back. I'm more or less the same way after all. The 7th floor that no one had ever escaped. The high ceiling, windows that could open only 15 centimeters, the white vinyl bracelets. For the 3rd time and as the last, girl on her 2nd, I on my 1st. So, here, congratulations on graduating. Thank you. With a small nod, the girl accepted my license. That, she was also licensed. Not only coupes, but sedans, even convertibles. She should be able to drive anything that she liked. Surely, she should be able to go any place that she liked. After that, we drove her a bit more. We arrived at our destination, the place where daffodils could be seen. It was supposed to be a tourist spot, but perhaps this was a bit away from the area, or perhaps it was the night. No one was in sight. Within the perfect darkness of night, we were waiting for the dawn in the dim car interior. Say, you're not going to turn on the light. The battery seems about dead. That's right. Inside the car, with even the engine off, only the dim light from the dashboard faintly illuminated our profiles. In the tight space of the car, where the sound and light faded away, we exchanged very few words as we waited for sunrise. The lump of laundry that had been tossed to the rear seat, thick jeans and sweatshirts and towels, took a number of those and wrapped them around our bodies in place of blankets. Are you cold? Well, if you come a little closer, you know. Eh? Look, don't hold back. Come here. Speaking to the girl shivering from the cold in the passenger seat, I pointed to my left. Oh. He's getting balls now. Interesting. I pointed to my lap. I'm sure that it'd be be warmer here. Not particularly. I'm fine. As the girl spoke, her body was shivering. Even inside the car, our breaths misted. It was obvious she was putting on a brave face. Or is it that you're cold, so you want me to come? Wow, you cheeky bastard. Well, that's fine too. Then, alright. And slowly, she came over to my side, hesitatingly curled on my lap. Well, it's a bit warmer, isn't it? The windshield was fogged totally white from the cold outside. With that white and dark outside, nothing could be seen outside. But soon the sun would rise. Surely at that time, a field of white flowers would spread out. The night was quickly fading. The rising sun was turning the darkness from a faint purple to a pale white. Then, with the dawn, white flowers spread before our eyes. The place had been only black up until now. White flowers appeared. Two of us couldn't help but get out of the car and gaze at the scene. Amazing. Spread before us, countless daffodils. The morning dew caught the morning sun, further enhancing the bright whiteness of the prominent flowers. One could believe that it was a carpet that stretched to the sea. Oh, that's something I never thought of before. And that, we exchanged words, our breaths shining the same white. That day, the boring television showed the flowers. We had come to this place. Even though we had no purpose, we managed to come all the way here. These flowers, I can think of them as being the same. Even strictly speaking, they're the same. I see. That's good. Didn't know the difference between kinds, but that day, television showed a scene of unbroken uniform beauty. Compared to that, the flowers before our eyes differed in size, as well as how much they bloomed. But, without a doubt, they were here. Beautiful. Indeed. Vague, dull, ordinary, but always cold and merciless to everyone. Reality. In a world filled only with things that couldn't be seen. A world filled with things that were where even if you stretched out your hand, you couldn't touch. Right now, something that could definitely be touched was before our eyes. And fragments of those unseen somethings were scattered about. Awajishima. Rain continued to fall from the solid white January sky. Since then, 2 days have passed, and the whole time, we were still in this place. We couldn't go. The girl coughed. Hey, are you alright? Probably. Her health had taken a turn for the worse. Her lying stretched out in the passenger seat, barely moved the car and had remained stopped here. She was taking her medicine, but perhaps they weren't effective. Her bad state of health remained constant. However, we were people from the 7th floor. From her original condition, for a girl who was on her second time to wind up like this wasn't too surprising. Say, do you want to go back? You want to go back? Just a little bit. 7th floor or home? That's... I didn't know. What I had known was that sooner or later this would happen, and of course, I myself wasn't too far from it. However, being able to only watch nearby, unable to do anything, was painful. February 2nd. The rain didn't seem like it wanted to stop, and continued falling from the dark night sky. Beyond the windows of the parked car, the shining white daffodils would faintly sway. Hey, this is... As I spoke, I pointed at the white flowers beyond the windshield. These were Narcissus, weren't they? The daffodils? Ah. The word came from Narcissus. So that's what that's from. Huh. Learn something every day. Narcissus. That was a word that I remember hearing before. Until now, I had thought that had been a familiar word, but... You mean... the Narcissus where a narcissist came from? Ah. Originally it was a myth, so there are many tellings. Then the girl started to slowly explain as I wore an admiring expression on my face. The one who was loved by everyone, Narcissus. The nymph nymph, excuse me, Echo, was also one of those who loved him. But Echo couldn't say anything but the same words spoken to her. Nothing but the same words? Yes, and so for Narcissus, unless she got him to say I love you from his own mouth first, Echo could not express her own feelings. In a lonely and sad voice, the girl continued to speak. I felt that her gaze, like before, looking at some place much farther away. However, that was absolutely impossible. No matter how much she dreamed, yearned, Echo's wish could never be granted. Finally, she wound up placing a curse upon Narcissus. That was the famous falling in love with his own image reflected in the pool. And then, Narcissus, who continued to gaze at his reflection, eventually was transformed into a beautiful flower. And that was where this flower, the Narcissus, drew its name. The story came to an end. She lightly took a breath. I had been listening and also felt desolate. Echo, who bore a yearning for something that could never be reached, felt as if it were just like us now. And then what happened to Echo? She's nowhere. From the moment the curse was cast, she disappeared. Disappeared? Then, wasn't there no meaning behind it? To go so far as to place the curse, but to get nothing from it. In the end, it just made Narcissus unhappy also. Something wrong? No, but you're different, aren't you? Huh? Well, before, didn't you ask me? Whether I cursed my own fate, which I couldn't do anything about. Because I had given up. The me whose time had stopped. Numerous seasons, white overcast skies. Passed without even the need to exchange words with anyone. When was it that I became alone, I wonder? Even if I closed my eyes, the world didn't disappear. Even if I stopped my ears, the sound of the rain wouldn't stop. I knew that. Neither the bikini swimsuit, the emerald sea, nor the happily smiling photo. I didn't really think I was envious. In the world of my closed eyes, even without maps or a car, I could go anywhere. Even if I wasn't being warned by the large scar on my chest, even if this reality were Narcissus, and I were Echo, I would never yearn, never curse. Even when I was supposed to have decided that. My heart right now swayed. Time that was supposed to have stopped tried to move. Even though if it did so now, very soon it would end. Wounds, deeper they are, it seems that they require a proportionate amount of time to heal. If so, if one had taken a long time slowly letting go, is it too late to recover? Then, what would become of me? Someone who had lived 22 years. girl's coughing grew more severe. Hey, are you alright? Before dawn, stretching my hand out to the passenger seat, I stroked her back. Since then, another 2 days had passed. The medicine that had been losing effectiveness had run out. But it was better than doing nothing. Thinking that, I reached for the car keys, planning on going to a pharmacy. Then, as I was about to switch on the ignition, it's fine. I was stopped by a weak voice. But at this rate, you're... Either way, they don't work anymore. That may be so, but... Certainly, it was like the girl said. Most likely, with the same medicine, there wouldn't be any effect. But even knowing that, it was painful for me to sit still, unable to do anything. Then, well, let's go somewhere else. Somewhere else? Yeah, somewhere other than this lonely place. Okay, let's decide on our destination. Come on, anything will do. Be the navigator again. I was speaking in a bright tone of voice that even I thought was laughable. Yeah, at this rate, that is definitely laughable. Facing that profile looking far away, I continued to speak cheerfully, alone. I knew that doing this was useless. At most, how 2 days before the end would turn to 3. Even I knew it was on that level. Come on, say something. There's some place, isn't there? Not particularly. I know. Don't you like cars? Let me try that again. I know. Don't you like cars? You want to go on the expressway again? Not particularly. Then, well, let's go buy some new clothes. You want them, don't you? Not particularly. Not particularly. You... Those final words, once again the girl looked out the window. Not looking at the Narcissus that spread before her, but like before, looking off somewhere far away. That pouting, embarrassed face she would sometimes show, she wouldn't show it to me anymore. Why are you like that? Always with just not particularly. Just being a little forward-facing, what's wrong with that? Before I knew it, I raised my voice. For some reason, I was sad. Even though I was supposed to be unable to have any real sense of reality, my heart ached. The interior of the car returned to silence. Outside of the window were the flowers of January, daffodils, narcissus. In the dark before dawn, their whiteness gently swayed. Farther than the flowers, much farther, the girl continued gazing. Only the faint sounds of waves held sway in this place. Looking forward, how could I? Huh? Inside the dark car, suddenly she spoke up. To yearn, to be eager, to strive. If someday you would be rewarded, then fine. But when it doesn't come true, what should I do? At that time to say, oh, it wasn't possible, and laugh? I'm not that strong. The girl who had eyes that always looked far away was looking straight at me from the passenger seat. What can I do? Or what I could do was give up from the start. To not wish for anything. To say, of course it was impossible. To look at myself with cold eyes. There was nothing else I could do. For the first time, a girl cried. Even though she almost never showed any emotion. Her small shoulders shook, and tears flowed. At that time, if I had tried harder, what if... What was to me my final excuses? I could do nothing other than put them aside. Because I knew from the start that it was impossible. Isn't that much allowed? I looked at the dark sky beyond the windshield. The sky before the dawn even showed the face of the moon. I could only hear the occasional sound of waves, the girl's sobbing voice. The girl might feel that she was the same as Echo, unable to return anything but the same words. From herself, she could say nothing, hope for nothing, see nothing. Could do nothing but give up. So for this girl, refusing both the 7th floor and home was perhaps her first and last act of defiance. Well, holy mother of God, that was, oh boy. I'm not gonna lie, during that one part, I wasn't crying when I was reading that, I was just acting. But I honestly almost did cry there. Hmm. Well, it appears that Setsumi is on her last legs because of the lack of medicine now, and her coughing is becoming erratic. Not erratic. Stronger. Until next time, Brigadiers. Keep on rocking.